It is 1:41 a.m. The Ontario police that are stalking and know exactly where it is that I'm sleeping. The Ontario police that engaged in kidnapping from Tracy Banks' house, engaging in where I'm being gang stalked by the Ontario police, who engaged in an unlawful eviction, who are monitoring right now as I move, wake up from sleep, and get my jacket. This demon that is Ontario police that's monitoring is engaging in what is told. You need to move, you need to go somewhere else, while they're exercising authority under the law, while they're gang stalking at the same time. So this is a police department engaging in surveillance and talking about, oh, you need to move, like they don't know that I'm already here stalking. All right, they're stalking me. So this is currently, it's 1:42 a.m. This officer is gang stalking right over here. This is the Ontario police that are monitoring. He stops over here, gets out of his vehicle. He's monitoring me. I wake up to pull my jacket out. So that's a new movement that I'm engaging in. And he's coming over here with his flashlight and he's patrolling. He's walking around the building right now and he's monitoring me. So he, first of all, is telling me under the law, where they're violating the law, he's a gang stalker. This is not a law enforcement agency. This isn't a cop that's not stalking, that doesn't already know that I'm sleeping here. The entity's stalking by helicopter, stalking by the Ontario police on a daily basis, and they are engaging in the P.O.C. So he's crossing path. I just want to speak to what's going on with regard to monitoring by the Ontario police with the people of the state. And he's engaging in what is, oh, you need to sleep somewhere else. While that's, again, the entity that is stalking me and threatening to, under the law, where they're violating the law, while they're engaged in what is stalking me, talking about, well, you need to sleep somewhere else because otherwise you're going to kidnap me, apparently, for violating the law, for sleeping at the museum. And they are the ones that engaged in an unlawful eviction with Tracy Banks by kidnapping me, knowing that I'm going to be sleeping outside, where they would be engaged in stalking me day and night in order to engage in what is kidnapping. Understand how the entity is engaged in that. And this overweight white male is engaged in monitoring right now. And I want to get him and ask him again. That's why I want to document this right now, because this is the whole point of what they engaged in on May 29th. When you're engaged in what is kidnapping a homeless person, that's my state right now. The entity monitoring me when I'm on the job in Los Angeles, LAPD, resigning from my employment, can't go to work without being gang stalked, and then the entity is engaging in that. Hi, this is P.O.C. vehicle 1107. Hi, what were you saying? I was sleeping. Double shadows. I can't sleep here? No? Okay. Why?
You can't sleep where you want.
No, I mean, I know that. Is there like a reason? Is there a law or something? Am I
sleeping in public?
On the bench?
City of Ontario? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I get your name, please?
You don't need my name.
Aren't you a public official?
I am.
You're not violating the law, are you?
I'm not.
Okay, so do you have a problem telling me your name?
I don't need to tell you my name.
Okay, what's your badge number?
I don't need to tell you that either.
Well, why wouldn't you?
I don't need to. So.
Well, you're telling me the law, right?
The municipal code, you cannot camp in the city of Ontario.
Right, you know what camping is defined as?
Having items sleeping in public.
Well, so you do know what camping is defined as, then? Yeah. Okay. I wasn't asking for all that. I was just asking for your public information, because...
That's great.
You don't want to provide that, though, right?
I don't need to.
Okay. How did you know I was over here on the bench?
I got a call here, and I saw you sleep on the bench.
You saw me sleeping on the bench from over here? From driving on this street?
I was walking with my 2 feet.
Uh-huh.
And I walked right past you.
You were walking with your 2 feet. You got a call from the museum, right?
Yes.
Okay, but don't forget about the shadows he's got. This is monitoring. He doesn't want to give his public information. It's light activity. He's monitoring. 1680783. This department stalking day and night at the Ontario Museum. Helicopters following me around, engaged in what is kidnapping in order to get in this state where then they would exercise authority under the law that they don't have, the municipal code, in order to engage in kidnapping. And he's monitoring. Okay, this is federal prison, by the way, and he doesn't want to give his information. He's a public servant, again, one that's engaged in what is criminal surveillance. But I wanted to get that. This is monitoring. You see my shadow here? You see my shadow here? That's not caused from the lights outside. It's not caused from the headlights. And this demon saying from here, he saw me sleeping. I'm laid down on the bench. You cannot see me over here. They're stalking day and night by helicopter, however, flying in circles over me by helicopter, the Ontario police. And this is exactly what they engage in kidnapping. They engaged in kidnapping on June 18, 2021, when they know that I'm sleeping outside, gang stalking me by helicopter. This demon, this coward that doesn't want to give his information. That's P.O.C. The Ontario Police is being disbanded. 1680783, that's federal prison. I just want to be clear. Gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. So the entity is engaging in what is kidnapping, and then engaging in what is stalking, where they know exactly where I'm sleeping at night, and using this as the very means to engage in what is harassment and threatening. Jonathan Burnett does the same thing, gang stalking me at this museum with the flashlight when the demons know exactly where I'm sleeping. They're engaging in what is keeping me under surveillance at the museum, where they're engaged in what is criminal activity in the first place, and then upon criminal surveillance, referencing the law as a basis as to why I cannot be sleeping here after they engage in a kidnapping. All right, a kidnapping to unlawfully evict me from Tracy Banks' house, where they were gang stalking me. Understand that. It is my shadow is appearing over here. That officer was monitoring. That's how he knew I was over here. And I'm sleeping on the bench over here. I'm laid down on the bench. You cannot see me from the street. And he's stating, of course, they're always stating they got a call pursuant to criminal summoning. If he got a call at all, he didn't need one. They're engaged in surveillance. And I have shadow over here and a shadow on the floor. This demon was monitoring. This is exactly why the Ontario Police Department is getting disbanded. This is exactly what the purpose of criminal summoning is. This is exactly the problem with criminal surveillance by law enforcement and then exercising authority under the law when I'm not even violating the law. This is with regard to the entity creating a circumstance where else am I going to sleep? Okay? The entity engaged in unlawful eviction through the Ontario Police Department to create this circumstance, by the way. The entity engaged in what is kidnapping me and removing me from Tracy Banks' home, and the entity is engaged in what is monitoring me, knowing exactly where I'm sleeping at. Before this demon uses this as an example, uses this as an opportunity to engage in, well, either you leave or then what? What are you going to do? You're going to arrest me? That's a kidnapping when they're engaged in gang stalking. Understand the significance of criminal surveillance by law enforcement agencies. They don't have authority under the law. Engaging in that. So I just wanted to, and now my shadow's over here, pay attention because this is all monitoring that he was engaging in. And he's walking down here, and he does so after I dig in my bag. I dug in my bag because I was getting my jacket out. So that's stalking with the activity, what he was doing. He's monitoring, and the fake moon is over the museum. And I documented the sunrise and set here at this museum. They're monitoring in Ontario. The Ontario Police is engaged in criminal monitoring. He was creating light activity, walking around in engineered light, monitoring and stating, oh, that's right, he got a call. That's why I was asking him those questions. And he doesn't want to give his information because he's a gang stalker. He very well could have given his information. They're public servants. And they're supposed to when you request it. But I want to be clear, whether he gives it or not, he was monitoring right now. And the Ontario Police Department engaged in kidnapping on May 29th to create this very circumstance right here, which is not a basis to arrest. They're engaged in kidnapping. This is exactly why El Martinez, C. Torres, who went to the Ontario Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, he's going to federal prison. They're gang stalking at the intersection at 6:18 p.m. on video under the fake sun. He's gang stalking right now in the same exact engineered light. That's federal prison. They're stalking. You're stalking, and then you're engaging what is the exercise of fictitious authority under the law while you're stalking. This is P.O.C. It's currently 1:50 a.m.